So namaste all. So today we are talking about basically our yatra, which is in August, but the theme of the yatra is Ramayana. So Ramayana is one of the oldest epic poems, and essential context of Ramayana is useful for all. And generally with each yatra, with each workshop we do, some of the aspects of the teaching will be shared in the general class as well. So it's good for anybody to come up and pick up the directions our school will be going to. So when we are talking about Ramayana, Ramayana is Rama's journey. So Ayanam means journey. So it's a journey of Rama as well as is a journey into Rama. So Ramayanam, the Ayanam word you might have heard before in Dhyanam. So we talk about Dhyanam as meditation, that is the Ayanam. So it's same as Rama Ayanam, is a journey. So since it's about journey of Rama, journey into Rama, we have to look at this Ram. So when you look into Ram, there are two ways to go about it. One is, who is Ram? And that question will bring the answer. Ram is the principal character of this epic, Ramayanam. And he goes through a lot of different kinds of events in his life, which is celebrated all over India. So that way Ram is a character, is a personality, which some will put him into the status of a divine personality. He's not like a normal, he's considered an avatar, where the greatness of the universe descends at some stages of time to do something about adharma, to do something about injustice. Directly it takes form in the world among us. So that is one way of looking at Ram in the context of who is Ram. Now, who is Ram? Then Ram is that divine personality. Ram is king of Ayodhya, earlier prince of Ayodhya. Then we go along the lines of a worshipping kind of basis. So Ram is the highest, and we connect to him from the devotional point of view. But in Manasa and in yoga in general, we are not so much into that devotional worshipping methodology. So that is one aspect of Ram, we respect it, and there are a lot of people going that way. So in India there are millions of people who worship Rama as a form of divinity. And it's not just in India, Ram is famous. Once when I went to Thailand, some of the roads itself are named as Ram. Even in India I haven't come across highways named after Ram. And then I think the royalty or somebody on top, they're also, the title of Ram is there. So Ramayana has gone beyond the shores of India. And then in Bali, Ramayana is big. Even I think malls are there, Ramayana Mall or Rama malls. So that's amazing. So that is that worshipping kind of following is there in India and beyond India. So from the Manasa Yoga context, we don't look at who is Ram, we are looking at what is Ram. So then it's not so much of a personality, and we are looking at what is this Ram about, what is it? And that is a practice we encourage in our school, termed under the title Swadhyaya. So we are encouraged to ask the questions what, how, where, which. We minimize questions like why and who. So we go more with the what question. So what is Rama? We have to look at that very term. We have to understand that Rama, that particular term, existed before Prince Rama existed. Okay, so like all of you. So whether it's Susan or Shalaji or Bala, your names existed way before you were named. So in that sense, Ram existed way before Prince Rama was born. Okay, so Rama doesn't have to be always that particular personality. So Ram exists, and in Sanskrit, many words contain what is called dhatu. Dhatu means a root. And when you look at the root, we get an idea of what it implies. So the root of Rama is the term is called Rama. So Rama is the root of Rama. And the meaning is Rama Kridayam, meaning Rama is about play. The root of Rama, the meaning is play. And when we say play, Krida, play is about joyfulness. Play is about adventure. And play is about, basically, we play because it's fun. There's joy there. And from there, it moves, eventually, when you put it in that noun form, Rama, the meaning has come across as, Ram is that in which you can revel. So, that in which you can revel. That is the meaning of Ram. Okay, with its root meaning. So it's not a personality, it is that into which when you dip in, you feel refreshed, you feel happy, you feel cleansed, you feel renewed. That is Rama from the standpoint of its root, Ram. Okay, Rama. So we can revel in, we can't revel in misery. We can't revel in mediocrity. We will revel in joy. Some happiness is there, we revel in it. Okay? Some greatness is there, we celebrate it. So Ram then stands for that greatness and that excellence in which we can revel in. Ram stands for greatness then. When you touch upon, you feel joyous. Okay, so it's that in which you can revel in. So that is the key meaning. And so on the basis of you can revel in greatness, you can revel in happiness, the theme for the yatra is aim for greatness. Susan is working on a t-shirt. So aim for greatness is the theme. Okay? So when we talk about aim for greatness, what is great for yoga students ultimately? The universe, we can't define it in any other way other than greatness. It is infinite, beyond whatever we can understand about it. It is just great. Okay, that's all we can say. So, universe is greatness, and then we have to know that each one of us is completely an expression of the universe. Universe expresses us. So we are not separate from universe. And if so, then you are non-separate from greatness. Is that okay? Rama is that in which you can revel in. We don't revel in mediocrity, we don't revel in complaining, we don't revel in any of such things. We revel in joy and we revel in greatness. Okay? So, universe is great and you are not separate from universe and you are great. But we don't revel in ourselves. Okay? We rebel, we grovel, we complain. Our main problem is we are not good enough as much as others, and our main problem is ourselves. We don't really revel in. So we have missed seeing ourselves. We keep on saying that I miss you, but basically we missed ourselves. And the theme of the yatra is aim for greatness is aim for yourself. You have to strike your core. So that is the whole theme and direction of this yatra and the teachings. Aim for greatness is aim for yourself. Okay? So, greatness of the universe is not separate from the greatness that you are. And then the teachings tell us that the greatness of the universe and the greatness of you exist along 7 lokas or 7 dimensions. So The first one, so this is something we'll be working on in the yatra to connect to the 7 dimensions. So the first one is called Buhu. The second one is called, okay, Bu actually means existence. Depends on which Veda you take up. I think Rig Veda says Buhu. The Yajurveda will say Bur. So Buha. Buha means existence. So that's one level. Existence meaning right now, whatever you're experiencing, that comes under Bu or Bur or Buha. Is that okay? Whatever you're experiencing the floor, you're experiencing the screen, that is coming under Bu. Okay? So the greatest of the universe is expressing as whatever way you're able to experience it. Okay? And it is great. Color, sound, different people, it's all great. Okay? That is Bu. And then when you practice, you start to see that the Bu, whatever you see which exists, is actually illuminated by a light within. So if you are seeing me as an object is illuminated in your consciousness. So if you're just sitting and suddenly a thought comes, that thought is illuminated in your consciousness. So generally we just see things. That is Bu. But through practice, through understanding of knowledge, we understand that there is another reality to this universe, which is the ability to light up experiences. The light which manifests out as objects. So when you start to connect to that loka is called Buvaha. Okay, so Buha, I think it's Buha or Buhu, then Buvaha. And when you start to connect to this light more than the objects, the next realm you're going to experience is Suvaha. Suvaha means joy. So when you start to connect to this light more than just the objects, you'll start to feel a bliss. So that is termed Suvaha. So standard Vedanta will call these 3 Sat, Chit, Ananda. So along this teaching is going as 7 lokas, 7 existence. We normally are only in Bu, and through training, through consideration of the training, you will connect to Buvaha. And then eventually you will connect to Suvaha, where you start to feel joy. And then as you continue, not just being happy with the bliss, you start to get comfortable in that bliss and you try to experience that realm, you will find that that is Mahaha, meaning that is Maha, that is great. You start to feel a non-divisive expansiveness to your core nature. You, the miserable personality with age problem, fat problem, flexibility problem, money problem, relationship problem, that starts to reduce. Okay, you are the light which chose to show all these misery things. And when you connect more to the light, the nature of the light is joy. You start to connect more and more to joy, Suvaha. And then, that's great, Mahaha. And then you will start to connect to what's called Janaha, which is giving birth to. So once you connect to that non-divisive, singular expanse of yourself, that level of consciousness, you'll find that it is the singular, non-divisive realm which just gives birth continuously to differences, to manifestations. So our world is one of differences. We are all separated, but when you connect to that level, you will find that everything is coming from one non-divisive realm. There is a oneness deep within each one of us, where we are all one. So that is Janaha. And then we have, as you connect to that more, you will connect to the 6th realm, which is pure light and heat. Tapaha. Tapaha is pure light, pure effulgence, and that is light and energy. You start to connect to your core. At the core, all of us are one singular light, and which is hot. It's laboring to manifest out. So Tapaha is the 6th realm. And once you connect to that, you realize that that is the truth, Satyam, of you as well as the universe, as well as everything in the universe. That essentially it is light and energy. So these are the 7 levels of progression in yoga practice. From Bhu level to Bhuvaha level to Suvaha level to Mahaha to Janaha to Tapaha to Satyam, to truth. Okay, so this is the journey of Rama. This is the journey of any serious yoga student, from Bhu to Satyam. Okay? Julie's studio itself is named as Bhuswa, right? Yeah, so okay. So she is putting it from Bhu to Swaha. Okay. Okay, so these are the 7 lokas. Now, the entire thing is one light which expresses out in these different levels, and this is connected to, from a mantra point of view, through a mantra called Gayatri Mantra. So this Gayatri Mantra will be taken up in this retreat. So now you can just chant after me. So Gayatri, generally, those who are familiar with it, we will only go for Om Bhur Bhuva Suva. But it is nominative for all the other lokas as well. Okay? So Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tatsavitur, Varenyam, Bhargo, Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yona, Prachodayad. So this is Gayatri Mantra. So just to quickly give you a meaning of this, this is, the Gayatri Mantra starts here, from Tat Savitur onwards. These are additional terms. So Tat refers to that. That Devasya. Deva meaning Divudyodana Swarupam, meaning that which is pure light. That which is Swaya Prakashada, meaning that which is self-lit. So for example, this light or fan, they are not self-turning. It's electricity which makes them bright or turn. But this Deva is a term for that which is self-resplendent, like the sun. The moon is not self-resplendent. Moon needs the light of sun. So Deva refers to that which is self-resplendent and is effulgence. Bharga means effulgence, which is Varenyam, which is worthy of our meditation. Dhimahi, meaning we meditate upon this great effulgence of this Deva, pure self-resplendent light, which is worthy. And they just give a name there called Savitaha. There is no name to light, but they just put it there, Savitaha. Savita, actually, the root word for that is Srishti, that to create. So it is this light which creates each one of us. All of us are formed out of this light. So this Savitaha, which is so resplendent, Bharga, this Deva, which is worthy of our contemplation, may we contemplate upon this light. So any experiences you're having, you will discern it to be Bhu, and you're looking at, okay, what is Bhuvaha? What is shining? What is lighting it? That is worthy of being considered. Not just looking at the experience, but the light which illuminates the experience. It is worthy to be concentrated upon Dhimahi, meaning Vayam Dhimahi. May we contemplate upon that. And then Yaha Naha. This when Sanskrit, when Yaha Naha combines, it becomes Yona. Yaha meaning who, Naha meaning us. So that light or Sabidaha who will guide Diyo, our intellect, towards great directions, towards greatness. Prachodayada, meaning inspire us. So this Gayatri Mantra is a direct appeal to this great light which is manifesting us all out. We are requesting that light to make our intelligence shine in the right way so that we can connect to our greatness. Okay? We can connect to our singularity, our essential oneness. So that is the mantra. Yeah. That we can't really say. So we just work on all of that, and it's not stable as such. So I still need practice. There's no constant level. That might be some like great masters who are always in that kind of level. I can sometimes be really like everybody else. Yeah. So this is the 7 lokas, and then we are connecting to this Savitaha, worthy of our meditation. Yeah. So what we have to remember is, in the retreat, this doesn't refer to any particular God, divinity, which might clash with your existing beliefs. This is purely talking about light of awareness. We are just contemplating on this light of awareness, and we are asking that light to guide the light of our awareness in great directions. Okay. So we will be doing this, and now the link to Ramayana is, the entire Ramayana is totally based upon Gayatri. The Adha, the base of Ramayana, is Gayatri. So the author of Ramayana is completely setting it up to take us through the experience of Gayatri through this great epic poem. This poem got 24,000 verses, which is 24 chapters having 1,000 verses each. Does that term 24 strike a bell? 24 letters of Gayatri. Tattva's all fine, but right now Gayatri mantra has 24 letters. So he has made 24 chapters, 1,000 verses each. Each chapter begins with the letter of Gayatri. So if you just open the Ramayana and just read the first letters of each chapter, you are saying Tat Sabitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayad. Finished. Okay? So the stories, the incidents and everything will take us through all these 7 levels. Okay? Through narrative. So sometimes to contemplate on all these different worlds is difficult for many people. So just the mantra alone might not. We will doubt it. What this mantra, will it make me connect to all these things? So we might have doubts. But when we go through the narrative, go through the stories, we will slowly become each character in this epic, and we will go through all the different levels. Okay? So that is why Gayatri has been spoken about so far in this introduction. So when you go to the retreat, you will be straight away working on Gayatri. So you know that it's because Gayatri is the base of Ramayana. So now we are looking at a little bit of story of Ramayana's origin. Ramayana, the story, the epic, the poem, which is some consider as the first poem ever written, doesn't come from a great scholar. So it gives us all great hope that it was written by a thief, by a robber who was not at the highest level at all. So he was just a normal, not normal in a good way, he was just a simple personality who wanted to provide for his family. So his strategy was, since he was not educated, but he had some kind of muscles and all that, so his strategy was to be by a forest, and anybody passing by that forest, if he thinks he can physically overpower them, he will jump on them. And he was like a principled robber, in the sense that once he jumps on them, whatever they have, he will take. Okay, so some of them might have a lot of money, he will take. Another person might have 20 cents, he will still take it. He won't discriminate. Okay, so he was that kind of weirdly principled thief. So he took all this and he used it to support his family. So he had he had parents and he had a wife. Now, in the epics, there is this mythic character called Narada. Okay, so Naram Dadadi Idi Naradaha is what is said. Narada is a sage, a great sage who bestows knowledge to people. Okay, he was also a troublemaker. So wherever Narada comes, there will be some kind of trouble. And then he will solve it also. Okay, so Narada is a very nice character in Indian stories. So if somebody comes and starts to say something and create trouble, we will say that, oh, like a Naradan is here. You know, we will say like that. Okay. So anyway, this Narada decided to visit Valmiki. So this guy is not Valmiki yet. This guy's name is Ratnakara. Okay, Ratnakara, a simple thief. Now, so he is just waiting by the forest, and then he sees this old man walking across, this monk. And as usual, this guy jumps on Narada. And Narada says, can't you see, I am just a monk. I just have this small bag. And but Ratnakara says, oh, that's okay, give me the bag. Then he'll say, it only has some loin clothes. No, I'm just a monk, you know, like, why do you want my loin clothes? He says, no, once I jump in, I will take whatever you have, you know, so give it to me. So then Narada then started to ask, in what way this will serve you? Okay, so then he said, no, this is my trade. I will rob and I'll keep improving in this, and whatever I get, I'll take it to my family, and this is for my family. Then Narada introduced that I am not a normal passerby, I am an interterrestrial traveler. So Narada is like that. He can be in heaven, he can be in hell, he can be in earth, he can travel. He doesn't need any immigration or anything. He can just move about. So he says, I got contacts. I came to tell that you are in trouble. Okay, you have been accumulating lots of bad deeds, and they are all like rearing up to be a really potent evil force, and you will become really evil soon, really, really evil, and where even your family won't be safe with you. So Valmiki says, I don't believe it. Okay, and so Narada said, I mean, I'm a monk. I'm not gaining anything. And I'm going to give you my loincloth. I'm not telling it to save myself. You can take it, but I'm telling you the truth. Then he said, okay, I have been doing a lot of these kind of not wholesome things. But whatever I've been doing, it is shared with my family. So it can't be that my family will suffer, because they are also part of it. They eat whatever I bring, so this has to be a shared kind of load. Okay, whatever evil I am accumulating, it has to be shared by my family, so I will get only like 1/4 of it. So it's still okay, you know. So he says, no, those people have a choice there whether to accept or not. So Narada said, you go and talk to your family. If they say that they will share these kind of samskaras, these kind of past habits, then with my contacts, I'll reduce your load to 1/4. So your wife should take, your mother and father, if they all take, then you all share equally. This robber said, no problem. And Narada said, then I'll wait for you, because I will convey whatever you tell. So the robber runs back, and he talks to father, mother, wife. All of them will deny any role in this. And they said, it is your responsibility to bring us food. You have to look after us. We don't have anybody else. We don't have a choice. So though we don't approve what you're doing, we don't have a choice but to eat that. But doesn't mean we are going to share, and you can't tell the monk that we are going to share your bad deeds, and when we also become evil. So this guy got a stroke of vairagya. Okay, dispassion. Suddenly his attachment to everything, he saw that it's all very shallow. Okay, so he walks back despondent, and Narada knew all of this. You know, he is there smiling, waiting, and he comes and says that I'm lost. Okay, so all this time, you know, like even the loincloth I'm going to take from you, I was planning to take from you, I only planned to give it to my dad. You know, I never changed my loincloth all this time. Everything was for them, but they are telling me that the bad part, the suffering part as a consequence, only you are going to take it. They won't take it. So I've lost my inspiration for robbing. Now I don't know what else is left for me. So Narada said, if we can let go of this identification for this kind of robbing and this kind of, you think you're doing something great for others and that they should be grateful for you, these kind of stories, if you can drop, I can give you the greatest happiness ever. So he says, how will I get it? Narada said, you have to practice yoga. And then Narada asked him to sit at a particular place and tells him you have to do tapas on the particular mantra I'm going to give you. And he gives the mantra Ram. Okay? So in the story, he first gives it in a reversed way, but I'm not going into that. So he gives it Ram. And he tells his Valmiki that he has to keep chanting. So Valmiki, like any beginning student, asks, so how many times I should chant? When should I chant? All these questions he will ask. Narayana just smiles and says, until I come back. You don't have to count or anything. Just keep chanting until I come back. And then Narayana leaves for another world. Narada leaves for another world. And this guy starts to chant. Okay? So then what happens is he had enormous discipline, which was uncommon. He didn't move at all, so the legend says, so he didn't eat or drink or he didn't do anything. He was completely absorbed in this practice of doing Ram chant. Okay? So let's just do that. 27 times, let's take the seat of Valmiki. So just to show you this picture, what it means is, what the story goes is, eventually ants started to think that he's part of the tree because he's not moving at all, and then ants started to crawl all over him and they made an ant hill over him. And later when Narada came back, he couldn't find this guy. So he's looking everywhere, and then Narada always listens well, so he could pick up a faint sound, Ram, Ram, coming. Then he found that it's coming from this ant hill. He clears it and then names his robber Ratnagara as Valmiki. That means ant hill. Okay? So that's how the name Valmiki comes. So Valmika meaning ant hill. Okay? So let's take a seat now. So you should take a good position now. This is only like I chant once, you chant once, and I'm going for only 27. So with your 27, we are only sitting for 54 chants. But in that time, some of us, ants will crawl. Meaning we feel here crawling, like restlessness is ants for us. Okay? So let it crawl, we still sit like Valmiki. Okay? No movement, where even ants get confused whether we are the floor or the wall. So take the position, close eyes. So we also, like Ratnagara, basically do not work too much on ourselves, do not look too much into ourselves. We are looking at what others are doing, and we will grab whatever we can get out of that, follow the drive, snatch here and there, and run away claiming that is ours. And eventually, this can bring dissatisfaction. And then some teacher in the form of a personality or a text will come, like Narada, asking us to aim for greatness, aim for your essential self. And in this scripture, it's about the mantra Ram. Ram is a Taraka mantra, which means it crosses you over. So I will chant once and you chant. Ram, 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 Ram. Few moments, just sit. Just looking whether we feel a bit of Suvaha. So Ram mantra can cross us from Buhu to Bhuvaha to Suvaha. The very meaning of that vibration Rama is bliss, which initially we might feel as a mild, throbbing pleasantness. Just slowly open eyes. So we'll take a look. So this is the origin, and another interesting part of this is Valmiki, before writing Ramayana, he didn't know how to make it into a poem. The Narada will ask him to write Ramayana. He didn't know what meter to use. He didn't know what rhythm in which he has to make the whole thing up. And then by the Ganges, he was just with his students. That student is famous, Bharadwaja. So he was there and he saw two birds, and these birds were like romancing with each other, and he was very taken by that whole sight. It's beautiful, the birds just in that kind of romantic mood with each other. So he kept on watching it, and then suddenly the male bird gets pierced by an arrow of an hunter, and it just struggles and dies right in front of him. And he could see the female bird coming around and lamenting, and Valmiki's heart breaks at that. And then spontaneously in that emotion, he kind of utters a few lines in that sadness. But that, by the time he ended, he found that that had a fantastic tune, a fantastic rhythm and meter. Then he dedicates that rhythm to that Ramayana. He'll set that meter to that Ramayana. So there's a lot of this kind of sub-stories, very interesting stories. Okay, so in Yatra practice, we will do this kind of Valmiki sits. Okay, so we will do sitting practice, and we will consider some appropriate words. It doesn't have to be Ram. If anybody has a problem with that, we can always pick up any other word. It stands for a quality. So you know that Rama means joy. You can just keep on repeating joy, joy, not even verbally, mentally. Or it can be another quality, courage. So we need to pick up something, and this whole thing is coming about that power of him moving from that Bhu to that Maha level was initially triggered through that continuous repetition of one word. Okay, so whatever is that you're aspiring for, maybe it's the term calmness or concentration, steadiness. We need to pick up one through the next few months, which you're going to make it a mantra, okay, in that practice. So now just fast forwarding a little bit in that whole scheme of Ramayana. So Narada comes back and he finds that this is now Valmiki, the thief is no more. In his place there is this great tapasvi, somebody who can put in so much of hard kind of tapas to sit until the ants come and crawl. So the Narada is very pleased, and they get into a conversation, they talk about many things, and then Valmiki asks him a question, and this question eventually Valmiki puts it as the first verse of Ramayana. Okay? So we will chant the first verse of Ramayana. Ramayana is very popular, especially all over India, but have you chanted first verse Ramayana? So most of us haven't chanted. So it's a great epic, so we will just chant that. The Sanskrit might be a bit tough, but I will be with you. This is the very first verse of one of the greatest epics. And you should remember Gayatri starts with Tat Savidur, so you should know that it will start with Ta. Okay? Oh, I think I've written it somewhere. Yeah. So you can look at that. Just to repeat after me. Tapaswadhyaya niradam vagvidam varam tapasvi naradam paripapracha Valmiki Munipungavam Tapaswadhyaya niradam Vagvidamvaram, Tapasvi Vagvidamvaram Naradam Paripapracha Valmiki Munipungavam. So Narada here is given a description as a character which is always doing tapas and swadhyaya. Niradam meaning always. Okay, Nairantarya, Niradam also. So Narada is a sage who is always doing tapas, is always in discipline and is always in study. Okay, introspection of himself as well as study of great texts. Tapas swadhyaya niradam vag vidan varam. Vag means words. Okay, vak vidan. So vak with meaning he really knows words, meaning he really knows the text. He is a great scholar. So vak with itself is like a great scholar. Varam meaning the blessed, the exalted among scholars, the scholar among scholars. Okay, vak vidam varam. To such a sage Narada, Paripapracha. Paripapracha meaning well asked. Prashna meaning like asking a question. But those days the teacher, we need to ask them in a particular way by which the teacher feels that you are ready to get the answer. So you can't simply go and ask teacher a question. Okay, so they will size you up by the way you're asking the question, and they will choose to hide their knowledge or disclose their knowledge. So Valmiki asked in a very appropriate manner at the right time, and that pleased Narada. Okay, so Valmiki is given only one appellation, that is Tapasvi. Okay, because Valmiki just did that great sitting with the mantra chant. So he is a tapasvi, not yet Vagvidamvaram and all that, not yet a great scholar, but he has attained a great state. So he is considered Muni Pungavam. Muni meaning Mauni, Maunam, the one who can be really silent. Okay, silence receives. So he was silent except for that Rama chant. He was extremely silent as all other roles of life. He did not become the robber. He did not think about anything else. Absolutely silent. That is a Muni. And it is in that silence that insights can happen. Okay, so in that way, he is an exalted, Pungava meaning he is also an exalted Muni. Okay, so meaning like he can be really silent. So these are all conditions which we will be working on in the retreat. So tapas, swadhyaya, niradam. So we will be doing that. So yatra time is really about tapas and niradam. So we shouldn't go for a yatra thinking that is a relaxing sightseeing trip. The whole idea about yatra in our context is to really put in focused work of tapas and swadhyaya. You're going to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of sitting, a lot of moving, and swadhyaya study. Okay? So, and now comes this greatness part. So we are all saying aim for greatness, aim for Rama, aim for your essential greatness. But now Valmiki asks Narada, Valmiki asks about 16 qualities. He's going to ask Narada, Narada, you have traveled all over, different worlds you have traveled. But in this world, have you seen or heard about anyone? Does anyone exist who have these 16 qualities by which I will think that that mind or that consciousness is great? Okay? Did you find any consciousness, meaning any mind, in a simple way, any mind which is really resplendent with 16 qualities? and then he will start to ask about these qualities. So our yatra would be really daily connecting to these 16 qualities. These 16 qualities define Rama as not a personality, but as a great bundle of these qualities. And when we aim for these qualities, we are aiming for Rama. Okay? So these are the 16 qualities. Just to go with that theme and that to connect with this great text, we will chant. It's a little bit tough, but let's try. Kon vasmin sampradam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmatnyascha kridatnyascha satyavakyo dridhavradaha. Okay, so this is the exact second line. So he says, Kaha nu asmin, meaning who, Kaha meaning who exists, Sampradam loge, in this world. So he's being very clear in his question. He's not asking like, does somebody exist? Then anybody can say that in that world there is somebody existing, which we can't verify. Okay? Or we will say my grandfather was like that, but who died? We can't verify. So he's saying right now is somebody existing in our world, not in imaginary world, in our world who has these qualities. And the first one he says is Gunavan. So that's the first quality. Gunas here refers to qualities. And these qualities, in the coming months, from May, we will form a WhatsApp group of those who are growing, and we will discuss. You need to consider the qualities by which you would like to live, by which you like to be known for. Okay, so that we need to consider. Gunavan. So when we are taking this up, you have to know that we are aiming for it. It's not that we have it. We are aiming for it. Okay, so you need to aim, you need to set up that target, and then we aim for it. Okay, so what would be the qualities? So Rama is a consciousness which is not vibrating with stories, which is just vibrating with whiny stories, complaints, emotional upheavals. It is not in that. It is a consciousness which is really vibrating with qualities. Every day the discipline is about, may I live by these qualities, may I be known for these qualities. That's the direction. So we also aim for what qualities, okay, would be great for us to feel, and which would be great for even others. Okay, so Gunavan, and then the second one is Vidyavan. Vidyavan meaning somebody who has great strength. So we are talking about mind and consciousness, a mind which is really strong. Virya. Virya meaning like essence, is essentially really strong and resilient. So we are not talking about the loud heroes who seem to be shouting and like that kind of person is not a Virya. Virya is where a power comes more from restraint. So they restrain, they watch their mind, they don't simply call out foul words, they don't simply scream out, they don't simply blame, they watch and they will pull back. So they conserve energy. They don't allow energy to just go everywhere all the time. So they conserve, and through that they develop a great potency in them. And that can be felt. Okay, people can feel like there is an intangible sense of power by which you feel a bit of a respect for them. But outwardly they are not showing off anything. They are quiet. But yet you feel something. Okay? Viryavan. So they should have qualities, but also strength. Okay? So this can be worked up by discipline. So discipline is tough for the mind. So like chaotic kind of flow won't build up virya. So we have a particular discipline, we do wake up at this time, eat at this time, that kind of thing builds up that virya. Okay? We are working against our samskaras, which wants us to do all kinds of things. And we will say no to certain things and yes to certain things. And by saying that no, we are getting stronger. Okay, Viryavan. So, and then he's talking about Dharmajnascha Kridatnyascha. Two things. Dharmajna. Jna meaning Jnanam, the one who knows Dharma. So this also, through the WhatsApp, I'll give you some indications. We need to work through these few months to connect to what are our really responsibilities. Each one of us might be a professional, might be a daughter, mother, wife, yoga student, community member, and all of that has its own kind of responsibilities. And we acknowledge that. Sometimes we don't. We just get caught up in some kind of routine. We might forget everything other than just the most immediate person we are living with. Okay, so we might forget many things. So dharmajnaha. So you will be mindful. So we can work on it. We need a little bit of introspection even before the yatra to connect to what are the things I would stand up for. Okay, dharmajna. Then is a beautiful quality. The next one, kridatnyascha. Kridatnyata. Kridam meaning that which is done to you. That which is well done to you. Kridatnyaha meaning you remember what people have done to you in a grateful way. So here Rama consciousness is full of gratefulness, is grateful, not spiteful. So if there is a mind which is always blaming, full of bitterness, that's not the Rama mind yet. We need to aim for that Rama quality, which is Kritatnya. So if anybody has done one good thing for you and then now can't do good thing, we still remember the good thing. Okay, so as yoga teachers, sometimes you'll feel that in different areas you'll feel this. Things keep changing. People can't be the same. That one who had been a good friend, who have been benefiting you, right now might be ignoring you. But then instead of completely going back and hating, you still hold that gratefulness for that which was done to you in a good way at a whatever point of time. Kritatnyataha. Okay, kridam. And so that's something we need to work on. These things don't come naturally. These are all to be aimed for. Okay, sometimes we feel good by being spiteful. Okay, but that won't give us the joy. Rama, we won't feel. That Rama, we won't feel. So we need to aim for this and then keep shooting or keep directing our mind towards kridam. Okay. And Satyavak, so here I'll just brief it a bit. Satyavak is quite straightforward. The speech you're aiming for as true as possible. It's not like you shall only speak truth. It's not like that. We aim for it. We try as much as possible. It might not be bullseye all the time, but we keep working on it. Okay? Satyavak and Dridavridaha. So that is also a great quality. So Satyavak and Dridavridaha goes together. So we all might say big things like, I will practice every day 1 hour meditation. I will practice 20 sun salutes every day. But when it comes to doing, we might not do beyond 1 day. Okay? So there we need to balance. If we speak one thing, then if we resolve on one thing, we will make sure that it is done. Vrida meaning vow. Drida vridaha. Once you take a decision, you will stick by it. So you won't lose talk. You will say only that which you know you can aim for and do right now. And once you said it, you will do it. Okay? So that is Satyavak Drida vridaha. So you can plan, okay, daily I will sit for 5 minutes. Okay? That is possible. You feel confident. And once you take the decision, you know that there is no excuse for missing 5 minutes. So Drida vridaha. Sit and do that daily. So until the yatra comes, it will be great if you all pick up that quality by picking up something you can do for the week. So 1 week you can be like, I don't know, last meal vegetarian, or less sugar or no sugar. Some things you should take up, which you know is not too much. You can do it. Once you decided, you do it. That is Satyavak and Drida vridaha. Okay? So it continues. So this I'm not chanting. So Charitrena is one who is learning and one whose story is interesting. So this Valmiki is asking from a point of view, he wants to write about somebody. And that person should have an interesting kind of life. So there's a lot of fantastic incidents, and then he can really work on expressing it in a poetic way. So he asked that Charitram, another way is that we are all becoming history all the time. Okay, so Charitrena ko hida, meaning like somebody who is yukta, united with studying all the time. Okay, we are learning, we are aware all the time, we are aware that things are just keep on becoming past, keep becoming past. We are noticing that things becoming history. Okay, so that flow of time. So one who is aware of that time flow, then did anybody ask anything? No, right? Sarva Bhudeshu Hidaha is one who is connected to all beings, one who only intends good to all beings. Okay, so that is there's no kind of bitterness in the Rama heart. Vidwan, one who has great knowledge, so should be a scholar. I mean, Valmiki is looking for somebody who is very good with words as well, who is well learned. So a scholar kind of person, but who is not just a scholar, but who is a samartashaha. Samartha meaning sama, somebody who is equal to whatever life throws up as a challenge. Sama, equal to artha. Whatever happens, they are equal to that. They can stand up to that. That is samartha quality. And Valmiki asked for a lot, because now he is saying that apart from being a scholar and all that, this person should be really good to see also. Okay? Eka Priya Darshanam should be really, is there somebody who has all these qualities, but doesn't look like a nerd, scholar, but looks really great. Okay? Priya Darshanam. So in a toned down way, it can also mean Priya meaning somebody who is pleasant to see. Okay, somebody is pleasant to see, doesn't have the physical attributes, is their disposition towards you, a cheerful personality is pleasing to see always. So just a few more qualities. Atmavan meaning one in whose hands one body is. Atmavan, this is not referring to the soul. Atma here is referring to the one who kind of owns the body, who is so well coordinated. Their reflexes, their coordination is so high. So he's really making it a point that he doesn't want just a scholarly type of person. He's looking for an extreme athletic kind of person, okay, who has everything, like his body is on his hands. For us, it's like handstand. Is there anybody who knows all these things can also be in continuously handstand? Like that kind of thing is Atmavan. And Jitakrodaha, one who can subdue anger. So these qualities, when you aim for, how it can really help is, like recently, I had an episode where I think I was about to really express anger in a really no holds barred kind of way. You know, it was really kind of coming up that way. So Kritajnata, all I forgot, and I actually walked to my car because I didn't want to do it from my house. And I got into the car, started the car, and then really took the phone. But then this term kept coming back. Okay, Jitakrodaha, Jitakrodaha, Jitakrodaha. Meaning, Rama quality is about really, Rama is not somebody who won't get angry. Okay, it is somebody who can subdue anger, somebody who won't be subdued by anger. Okay, so then I felt that's a great opportunity. Okay, so then I was okay, Rama, that's a great thing to aim for. So sometimes these kind of things can really help us. Okay. Also, one more thing, when I talk about me getting angry and all that, I always exaggerate a little bit. Okay, so like sometimes when we talk about, sometimes I'll talk about I got angry at a student, but later I get apologies from students saying that they think it's them who made me angry. So nobody made me angry. I'm just telling some instances irritate us. But then this particular term, Jitakrodaha, really gave me a nice direction at that time. Okay, so it's a time for practice, Jitakrodaha. Okay, Dyutiman, again he talks about brilliant. Dyutiman is somebody who's brilliant. Okay, brilliant. You talk to that person, you walk off, you'll say brilliant. Okay, just brilliant, and there's a radiance to the person. And again he says, Anasuyakaha. This person has no envy, is full of goodwill. Okay, it's completely, the heart is just goodwill. Okay. So the last quality, this person is no softy. Okay, so jata roshasya. Rosham meaning it's a kind of anger, but it rises when dharma is challenged. So if you take up one of your dharma is to protect your family, and then if something or somebody is endangering that family, then jata roshasya, you get provoked, and if you get challenged, even gods, this particular verse, kasya bibyadi devasya, even gods will shiver. Okay, so that kind of thing. It's not like I'm full of gratefulness and I'm just like that. It's not like that. You, this person won't get angry at you if you just call him some words and all that. But dharma, there are certain things this personality holds in value. If you push that, if this person is provoked, there is no holding back. Okay, you'll come all out. Samyuge, provoke to war. Samyuge means war. So these are the 16 qualities Valmiki asks. And Narada was waiting for it. Then Narada says, yes, there is a person. And he goes on to explain that this person is, name is also Rama. He is born in Ayodhya. He is the son of Dasharatha and Kaushalya. So Valmiki asked this question, Narada had an answer, and it's from that this entire epic starts to take birth. So here we have to again see Rama born in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a place, is there, right now also is there. But the meaning is Ayuddha. Yuddha meaning conflict. So Rama is born where? In a samahita chitta, in a well-settled consciousness. Not a conflicted shipta chitta. Going all over the place, Rama won't be born in that kind of consciousness. So some of you are into all these texts, you might find that how Patanjali says that yoga won't be born in shipta. Same thing. Rama won't be born in yuddhavastha. Okay, it won't come in that state. Ayuddha, Ayodhya. Rama is born in a calm environment. So that also is helped. Sometimes you get an experience in a retreat setup. Okay, so you go there, you know that you're completely there. The environment and everything puts you in that Ayuddha avastha. Okay, and then he's the son of Dasharatha. Dasharatha was a king, but for yogis, for us, the interest is the term Ratha. Ratha is actually referring to the body. So that's a common way the scriptures explain the body. The body is considered like a chariot, and it has 10 horses. The 10 horses are the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception. Dasharatha is somebody who can wield this extremely skillfully. Okay, so he has complete control over the organs of action, complete control over the organs of perception. To only such a person will Rama be born. So if you are just like, I don't go into conflict, Rama won't be born. You have to put a lot of tapas to have that kind of dexterity and control over the organs of action and organs of perception. Dasharatha. And you not only should be having control over organs of action and perception, that should be wedded to, Dasharatha's wife is Kausalya. So do you think of any quality which comes close to that? Kausalya. Kushalada. Okay? Kushalada. Kushalada means skillfulness. Kaushala. Okay? So, so you need that extreme kind of capacity, but is wedded to skillfulness. In that union, Rama will be born. So he's actually in a story form. Valmiki is setting up your own inner environment, what you should do. We want to do practices which will make it less conflicted, and you should do practices which will bring you great control over organs of action and organs of perception, and then you should practice skillfulness in each moment, skillfully choosing what is wholesome, what is not wholesome, skillfully directing your mind. Then you, Rama, is kind of set up to born in such a place. Okay? So, yatra schemes would be, every morning we should be chanting Gayatri. I might lead a bit, and then you will be mentally contemplating on the meaning. So, once we know the list, I'll be sending you reasonably big kind of notes about the details of Gayatri. Okay, the 7 worlds and all that, so you get familiar with the term. And those who haven't been to Rishikesh, this is Rishikesh, you might consider coming. Okay, so then we will sit daily like Valmiki. Okay, yeah, without moving until the ants come. Okay, so that is the Valmiki sitting. Okay, just sitting till our comfortable time. First moment of restlessness, get up and go. That is not Valmiki sitting. So we will sit until the ants come and they make a hill over us. So that would mean you have to start practicing right very soon to gradually build up to a 45-minute sitting capacity. Okay, so everybody reaching around that. I mean, anything around 30 is good already, because if you can do 30 in your home, you will do 60 in that environment. Because that environment is about that. Even people who never do anything go sit by the Ganges, they will sit there for a while. They won't feel like getting out. So just start working on it so you can really connect to the environment, connect to the shift of the lokas within. Okay, so you can. So we need to start. Okay, so then we will be doing every day the Dasharatha training, getting that control over the organs of action and perception. So daily morning we will be doing the sun salutes and we will be doing the Kalari practices. So this is for us, it's like, that's an important part. Rama won't be born just by sitting and chanting. He's born to Dasharatha, so we practice getting that grip over organs of action and perception. And then in the stories, when Rama was around 13, 14 years of age, he's with Dasharatha. Dasharatha, the father, is very protective of Rama and Lakshmana, his brother. Vishwamitra is a very feared sage. So wherever he comes, people are a little bit nervous already. And this Vishwamitra visits Dasharatha. So Vishwamitra is given the highest respect. And Dasharatha says, okay, what can I do for you? And Vishwamitra says, I want your son Rama and Lakshmana to come with me, because in the forest I am living right now, there are a lot of demons, and I want your son to kill them all. So Dasharatha gets very offended. How can you ask like, Dasharatha says, I will come. Okay, I am Dasharatha, and I have an army, and I have special powers, and I can destroy all these people. Why do you want this 12-year-old boy to come with you? That I can't allow, because I worry for him. So then Vishwamitra starts to talk in another way, and then finally Vasishtha steps in. So these are all known names to you, right? Vishwamitra and Vasishtha. And Vasishtha says that this whole thing is played by Vishwamitra. He'll tell that Vishwamitra is actually a fantastically powerful yogi. These demons all, he's simply saying he can take care of himself. He wants to take Rama, is for Rama's own benefit. He is going to introduce Rama to all these different teachings and all that. Send him, he won't be safe, more safe with anyone else. And in this whole conversation, another big text opens up, which we will do a retreat at another time, Yoga Vasishtha. It starts there. At the end of it, Vishwamitra goes with Rama. Okay? You know where? He takes Rama straight to Rishikesh, by the Ganges side. He will go there and he will rest with Rama there. And then Rama just looks at Ganges and says, it's such a beautiful river. When I touch on it, I feel like something, there's more than just water there, it's just cleansing my very depths. What is this river? I know this is a special river. And Vishwamitra says, this, you sensed correctly, this is a river, but not just a river. This is just a river, but anything but a river. And let me tell you the story. So that would be the first story we will start off. In that place, by the Ganges, and then we can connect to that. So I will be starting the retreat from there. The asanas, by now you know, Rama is big with archery. It will be a bow post kind of practices will be there. Plus, Vishwamitra and Vasishtha are very the borders of this great epic. So Vishwamitra, Vasishtha will work on it. They got a very well equipped Iyengar Yoga studio there. So we have all the props. Yeah, we will be doing the 7 loga, 7 dimensions consideration, not just during the sitting practice, also doing yoga nidra will be considering that. And this place is called the Ram Jula. It's a suspension bridge. The myth is that Rama swam across that spot. So since he was there for a while, he said that Rama as a prince swam across that area, and ever from that point, people try to cross Ganges in that locality over that line. So it's like a stepping into that area. So we will be crossing that Ramjula, and we can visit. We'll be visiting other ashrams. We'll also be doing like satsang, provided people are up to it. We'll take one namaste and one om together. Take your time. Namaste. Thank you.